Oh, sorry. I was dancing away to my tune there. I hope you like it just as much as I do. And welcome to another daily chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby, live from the car. And I've just seen my wife turn up at home, looking at me rather strangely, wondering while I was bopping around, looking rather silly. I better be careful, otherwise the neighbours will catch up with it as well. I hope you've all had a good day today, by the way. Mine has been a very busy one. I've done circles around the M25, and I've got a story I can bring you about the motorways in a little while. But before I do, the first thing, I just want to go through the chat, pay you a little bit of attention and see what you've been up to and say hello to a few people. So we start with Cosmic Wartoad. And what have we got here? Bloody hell, the first comment. So I'll start with my usual greeting. All right, you lot. Yeah, we're all right, Cosmic Wartoad. That's quite a rare thing for you to be first, actually, isn't it? Julie Keys, hello to you. Ton of family memories. Alan Pate, one of our regulars. Hope you're all right. Live from Chester. There he is, everybody. Alan, I noticed you said you work in IT or have worked in IT. What did you do? What's your speciality? That interested me greatly to see, what area you worked in. Alan Edge, good evening to you. I caught up with some of your funnies you told me about earlier. I particularly liked a book by Matt Hancock, whose lovely smug-looking boat race was on the cover there. That was very amusing. I'll have to see about sharing that at some point. Who else we got here? Anna Perkins, hello, good to see you. Well, you say chilly. I've been quite hot today. I've spent a lot of time in here actually waiting around for people to get their arse out of the airport and in here so we can go home. And it was about 18 or 19 degrees at one point. It was absolutely ridiculous. I suppose it depends where you are, doesn't it? M. Perry, evening to you. John Harrington, hello to you. Julie Baldwin too. What's Cosmic Wartoad? Did you do that music yourself, and how do you do it? I had somebody do it for me. It's basically an intro and an outro file, which I stick on the start and end of all of my YouTube videos. And with the StreamYard thing, I can pull in other, bits and pieces like the countdown timer and all the rest of it. It's all good. Trevor Fuller, good evening to you from Norwich. Hope you're doing all right. John Harrington, sorry, Andy. What are you apologising for? What have I missed? Good evening, Gary. Oh, okay. Well, you must be referring to Gary the dinghy diver, of course. Not to be seen for a few months, of course, but now we're getting them all over again. We see in the news that the dinghy divers have come back in a vengeance. We've got TW Media and all the others down there at the coast, Dover. Nigel Farage has been out on a fishing boat, gamely pointed out by Piers Morgan on Twitter. Look at the big shark in the red vest. And they're coming in by the shitload again. Rwanda my arse, basically. It's not stopped them. It was never going to. It was never meant to. And I do wonder what other kind of deal has been struck for Rwanda that isn't, going on. And I'll tell you what, I have just seen a Just Eat driver appear at my front door with a delivery. Now, the only person that would Just Eat in my house is my son. My son has gone out. So I do wonder whether the silly sod has ordered KFC and not done anything about it. And my wife, I'm just looking, has... oh, yeah, all gone. He's out of there. It must be somebody else's food. I should have intercepted him, really. I could have had a bit of a slap-up second course on my dinner, couldn't I? And there... So, yeah, he can't tell the difference between one house and the other. Oh, dear. Hello, Harry Harlow. Happy bank holiday to you as well. Who else we got? Jane Griffiths, John Kent, Keith James. Good to see you all. Healing Vibrations. How are you doing, my friend? Not seen you in a day or two, really, in the chats. You've probably been there but I've probably been too busy yakking. John Harrington, good evening, everybody in the chat. Yes, definitely. Christine Ayres, hello to you. I'm supposed to be at work till midnight today, but could not work as I'm disabled now. Got my left leg knocked out by a silly kid on an e-scooter. Usual madness that happens to me. In e-scooters, they're a nightmare, aren't they? I nearly had a collision with one myself the other day. Trouble is, with a 3-ton minibus and an e-scooter, that I don't think that would have ended very well. Bon Scott, hello to you, and Lorna McKenzie too. Loads of people in the chat. Who's this? William Coakley Hill from Newmarket. Yeah, you're all there. Brilliant. And Bridget as well. Better mention Bridget. And I'll try and say hello to people as and when. Speaking of the motorways, I couldn't believe this one, right? I see all sorts every day of my working life on the motorway. I actually transported a former traffic cop or traffic police officer to the airport this morning. He'd retired. Hello, JPW, I'm good. And Bridget as well. We were talking about some of the silly things we'd both seen on the motorway. And I'll just dig this thing out here. I don't know whether this will play with no internet. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it plays. That's good. Let's see if it does large screen. Yes, we have a thing here. A mattress. This carrier. There's loads of mattresses on there, and this is on the M20, coming out kind of near Ashford Way. Let's just back this up all the way. You see what happens. Way! See all that lot? Absolutely unbelievable. Scattered all over the motorway. You couldn't Adam and Eve that. I mean, how people swerve that, I don't know. I mean, you see all sorts of crap along the motorways as it is, and you wonder with that lot coming towards you, how on earth you're going to swerve it. I'm assuming some of this was taken off of somebody's dash cam. There it goes, all over the show. Jesus Christ. I mean, I've seen some stuff splattered in the road on my time. Anna Perkins, yeah, fly tipping on the run. I think that's the best description for it, really. That was kind of absolutely nutty beyond belief. I mean, I see bits and pieces of stuff that have fallen off old builders' lorries. I've seen buckets. I've seen dead animals. I've even seen a 3-piece suite sitting in the central reservation before, but no, a load of mattresses off like that's ridiculous. And knowing Kent highways as I do, bless them, they'd have shut the whole bloody lot for 6 hours just to clear them all up and cause chaos. And down that end where you've got all the operation stack and all the lorries and everything else, oh my fucking God, it would have been a headache for anybody down there. But never you mind one of them crazy things you see. Another crazy thing as well, you see joyriders on the roads. And again, I was talking to this traffic police officer today. And apparently he knew my dad's name. Not quite sure how or why, but he did. And I will try and find that out. But let's get a load of this, right? Boy, 4 years old, takes mum's car keys and goes for a joyride in his pajamas. Yes, he decided he didn't like his little go-kart in the back garden and decided he'd go and take the real thing for a drive. Drivers are warned to keep their car keys away from easy access by burglars, but perhaps they should also be thinking about people already in the house. I've wondered about that problem myself from time to time. That's a lesson that one mum has learned after her son helped himself to her car keys and took the car for a joyride. Yes, Nigel Mansell, little mini Nigel Mansell with the helmet on, I can see that. The unnamed four-year-old, I couldn't see how they could reach the bloody foot pedals, managed to unlock the vehicle, get inside, then take it for a spin, all while wearing his pajamas. This is unreal. I mean, you know, a 4-year-old's got stumpy legs unless they had a growth spurt. Unfortunately, he wasn't quite ready to pass his test yet, and crashed into two parked cars in the Netherlands, of all places, on April the 30th. I wonder if it was automatic. Alarmed, he then left the vehicle and walked off in his bare feet, where he was later spotted by a concerned passerby who called the police. Officers picked him up and took him to the police station, where they gave him a hot chocolate and a teddy bear while they checked he was okay and tried to find out who his parents were. Where are we? They joined the dots after getting a report of an abandoned crashed car which was registered to his mother. A police Instagram post detailed how, while on the phone to his mother, he had gestured a collision with his hands and made a steering wheel movement. It continued. This gave us a suspicion that the child might have driven. Yeah, I still don't get that. I really don't. They explained at the car, we asked if the child could show how the car worked. The child opened the door with the key, put the key in the ignition. He started the car, moved his left foot to the clutch and hit the gas. So what appeared to have happened is when the child's father went to work, the child woke up and grabbed the car key to go for a drive. Luckily, they saw the funny side with the police, dubbing the 4-year-old the new Max Verstappen after the Dutch Formula One driver. Yes, very good. They start young, don't they? I still don't get, though, how a stumpy-legged little 4-year-old could get their foot on the clutch pedal and push it hard enough to get the thing in gear, let alone find the boy at biting point to drive off. Unless, of course, there's no such thing as a biting point in the Netherlands and you just push one and the other and away they go. I could believe it if it was an automatic. I really could. Yeah, I mean, you obviously managed it. It's in the newspaper and it's not April the 1st. So something like that happened. Who knows? Who knows? Well, this is the daily chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby, everybody. Welcome to all of you that have joined us on this Monday bank holiday. Hope you're all okay. If you haven't done so already, can you please make sure you hit the like button on this live stream? Very much appreciated. And also, if you've just joined us and started watching Andy the Gabby Cabby on a daily basis, please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. And while you're at it, we're across many social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Getter, a few other places as well. Please make sure you subscribe there also. That's wonderful. Now, before I go on to the next stories, we'll have a bit of a look at the comments and see who else is about and what you all think. 12 more likes to reach 50. Yeah, come on, folks, let's have it. Hello, Stink Pooter, good to see you. Harloo, trust me, that's normal. Hi, everyone. Hi, John Harris, good to see you. Chrissy Williams, hello. Let me know how many dinghy divers you spotted today. Bridget, my thoughts as well. I seen on YouTube a woman putting on makeup driving on the motor. Yeah, I can believe that. I mean, I've seen lorry drivers with movies. I've actually seen something overtake me at 70 miles an hour with a dog's head hanging out the window. Don't worry, the rest of the dog was attached. I've seen a passenger sat there with their feet hanging out the window at motorway speeds. If they crash, they're losing them feet. It's ridiculous. Some of the antics of some people, unbelievable. Keith James, I best not do it in my Minnie Mouse PJs. Laugh out loud. I'll behave yourself, woman. That's Christine Ayres. I've seen road users practicing for their auditioning as an extra for a Mad Max ripoff. Yeah, you may as well. I mean, I spoke to this traffic copper today, as I said, and he was telling me all about the refresher course that they have to do just to keep their skills up to date. And he was telling me some of the speeds that the cars were doing. You know, they were doing something like 150 miles an hour, and that was considered slow. I thought, what? I couldn't drive at 150 miles an hour. And apparently it's so fast, a vortex forms over the top of the car and collapses the roof, and it makes a different sound when you hear it coming, so you know how fast really that copper's coming along. Unbelievable. The child was set up by his older brother, Bloodnose says. Thank you for that. I did wonder how a 4-year-old could possibly get a car in that kind of condition, but thankfully he's all right. I mean, the cars, all right, have been damaged, but cars can be replaced. Little boys' lives can't. So happy ending, and everybody saw the funny side of it. That's the thing. You literally said what I was thinking about, how he was able to reach the pedals. Exactly. I mean, I remember years ago, my mum had a little Ford Fiesta. I think it was a Mark 1 or a Mark 2 Ford Fiesta. And she used to park it round the back of where we used to live, up against the fence, nose first into the fence. And my friend and I decided we were going to try and wash this thing one day. Of course, complete disaster. I can't wash cars for toffee. I go and get someone else to do it. And I thought, well, I need to get round the front of it. So what I'm going to do is back it up. I'm going to I've seen my mum do it enough times. I'm going to stick it in gear, push the accelerator. And I had no idea about that relationship between clutch and accelerator, because at the end of the day, I was just a young kid. And the damn thing, when I started, it went lurch forward. I nearly went through the fence. But thankfully, I managed to snap the brake pedal in time and put my foot down on the clutch to avoid complete disaster. And I was a lot older than 4 years old. Mind you, I did start a car once at 4 years old, a little Vauxhall Viva, and yes, my father wasn't very happy with me. One of those childhood memories that stick. Anyway, let's see who else we've got. That's nothing. I've seen somebody do a wheelie at high speed along the road without a crash helmet, and seen a cyclist with one hand. Oh, Jesus Christ. Unbelievable, isn't it? Hello, Rafi. Good to see you. I see the message that you put up earlier when you emailed me to my inbox. Hello, Patricia Shaw. Good to see you. M. Perry is saying the same thing as me. Absolutely. Is that for the dinghy divers to sleep? Yes, that seems to be all the thing again, doesn't it? The mum crashed, pissed up, and blamed the kid. There's a possibility, isn't it? Is a possibility. I mean, some would try and get away with that as well. How many of you are in Dover or somewhere on the coastline down there where you get a viewpoint of all those wonderful visitors? Give me a 1 in the chat if you live along the south coast anywhere. It'd be interesting to see the demographic. In fact, I'd be very interested to see the demographic. Where we've talked enough about children and driving their parents' vehicles. Let's talk about the dinghies. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I did a video the other day about the fact I don't believe a word of it. I can't vote here in Northants, but will be interested to see the results after Thursday. Okay, hi, Honesty and Truth, by the way. Yeah, I did a video, well, it feels like forever ago now, that I didn't believe a word of this damn dinghy diver crap. You know, they've stopped coming because we'll send them to Rwanda. We've had a period of time off, and all of a sudden, bang, they're back with a vengeance. I mean, I saw TW Media's footage. You know, they sit there, the pair of them, and watch all day long, and they're coming up the ramps. And old Farage has been off the coast today, and he's seen a load as well. We're all watching. We all know what's going on, and we're no longer fooled by any of this. It's all propaganda, isn't it? And my view is you stop the damn boats from coming. You either do that by stopping the occupants from launching them, or you burn the damn things, get rid of them, poof, done, and take them out of the equation. But these things don't seem to be happening, and it's all going under our nose. And of course, we know before they've made great pains to try and get rid of, you know, any evidence. You know, you can't go down there and film and all the rest of it. It's nuts. Yeah, Dave, 100,000 this year. I reckon you're not far off the truth there. Not far off. Makes me very mad as these dinghy divers are being kept at top hotels. Yeah, exactly. With free healthcare money and food, etc. It's not good. The problem is we are too weak. It isn't good at all. You've got loads and loads of people out there who cannot afford to run their fucking houses. I read a report earlier. Let's get these lights on, by the way. I read a report earlier of a young family, and I'm talking about a man and his partner and two kids who've got rid of their house and now they live in a tent with a wood burner because they can't afford a house. And then you get people coming in here. Oh, it pisses me off. It really does. But then what would I be called? A racist? Racist? You can't say that. Yes, I fucking can, and I have. It's ridiculous. It really is totally ridiculous. TW's back down over Andy. All young men. There you go. You know, let's put it out right. Chrissy, all young men. That's all you see all day long. And they put these pictures of women and children. It's bollocks. Few and far between, if at all. It really is mind-boggling. Speaking of propaganda, let's shift across to the old Ruski, if I say that with a correct pronunciation again, and a bit of the old Russian bashing. That's getting on my bloody nerves as well. I did a video the other day. I said, stop trying to scare us. You know, they mentioned that bloody N-word, you know, and we're all fucked. And apparently they've got this super great big missile that can come over here and destroy us all inside of 200 seconds. Apparently it can take out a piece of land mass the size of Texas. So if it hit the middle of London, even Jeanette McCranky up in a kind of Nicky Newland would be for the chopping block, no doubt. Hi, Mum, just seen you in the chat. Well, they've even started involving the kids now, right? Have a look at this boy. His name is Jerry Cameron. See? Young-looking lad there, right? And he's holding a tablet. I don't know if any of you have seen this, but I shall read it out, right? A 10-year-old boy comes up with an app where you can splat Putin with bananas, of all things. A 10-year-old boy has created a game called Splat Putin to raise money for Ukrainians. Okay, he's trying to do the right thing based on what he's being fed in the media. You can't odds that piece of ingenuity, but why is this in the fucking paper? Jerry Cameron's family say the initial idea of having players chuck poo at the Russian president, two shiny shites given, was rejected by Apple on the grounds that it was mean-spirited. So he's changed it to bananas. Banana split. Anybody? Yes, thank you. But now the Year 5 schoolboy, who has been considering making his own app for a while, has launched a more refined version of the game on both the Apple and Android phone stores. These bloody things are run by lefties, aren't they? I mean, if I went and did an app and I want to shove bloody birthday cake, or was it Christmas cake? I can't remember. At Boris Johnson on an app, I'll be in court. It's ridiculous. The Hertfordshire youngster was talking to his dad, Harvey, 53, about the war when he decided to help out and has already raised hundreds of pounds for the Ukrainians. Again, based on what he's being exposed to, he's felt he's done the right thing, showed a bit of ingenuity. I can't odds that. You know, good luck to him, but, you know, this is just more propaganda. After considering a few ideas, he settled on the Splat the Putin concept before Mr. Cameron contacted a software developer who they met several times a week to create the game. On April the 12th, after a month of hard work, Jerry launched his app in a slightly more polite form than the earlier Poop on Putin. Yes, thank you very much, Jerry, from Chestnut. He explained, I love technology and gaming, and I thought this would be a good time to make a game that could help the Ukrainian people. Watching my idea for a game come to life has been a really fun experience. You know, in all seriousness, if he's into programming and all the rest of it, let's hope he grows up, makes a bloody fortune. Good luck to the kid, you know. It's obviously got some smarts, but Putin, Jesus. Instead of lobbing feces at Vladimir Putin, Jerry attempted to meet the App Store's guidance with a toned-down version involving monkeys throwing bananas at him. Oh my God. You know, again, if I put something like that in, I'd be in all sorts of trouble. Monkeys and Russians and bananas. Yes, since creating a Splat Putin Facebook page a week ago, Jerry has racked up more than 10,000 followers. Proud Dad Mr. Cameron said this was all his idea. We just helped him facilitate it. He really wanted to raise money, and this seemed like the best way to do it. His creativity has really blown us away, and his determination to get the app completed and launched on the most effective platforms has been very, very impressive. We've had constant Zoom meetings and consultations with the developer to get here, and now it's finally ready and it's doing well. Jerry's ambition is to raise $1 million for a Ukraine charity, which he plans to achieve through advertising on his app and purchases. I know a lot of these things you can bolt in Google Ads and all that sort of thing in there. Currently, the game is free to download, but if players want to play without advertisements, it's a bit like YouTube Premium, isn't it? They have to pay 99p to do so. So far, Jerry has raised between £600 and £1,000, but he has yet to decide which charity to donate the earnings to. Well, Jerry, my advice is check the salaries of the chief executives of those charities when you make your decision, and you'll know actually how much goes to where they say they're going. Just my advice. He's won praise from his school, where students and staff have been fundraising for the crisis. Jerry added, it seems to be doing really well, which I'm very pleased about. I can't believe I've got 10,000 followers on Facebook. I have more ideas for other games in the future. I'd look out, world leaders, especially when fruit and poop are involved. But at the moment, I'm just focusing on growing Splat Putin and earning as much as I possibly can to help the Ukrainian people. How can you evolve that past chucking bananas at the Russian president? I suppose you can, well, other fruit, I suppose, and other things. But, it's a double-edged sword. It's a young kid that's shown a bit of an ingenuity, and that in itself is very impressive in my book. He said, right, I want to do this, get it done, boom. If he grows up thinking like that, he'll go far. Hats off to the boy. But the unfortunate thing is, to me, he's been used in this ongoing propaganda bullshit that we're experiencing throughout this whole crisis that we're on, and I don't like that. That leaves a sour taste in my mouth, a bit like a can of Coke with no whiskey. Speaking of which, cheers, everybody. Let's go back to the comments, shall we, and see what people have got to say. You've been faster than me, John Harrington. Who's faster? The stylist won't insert bright, loud white colours in my hair at ceiling vibrations. They can pop up literally next door to Russia in the Baltic Sea if Putin wants to go there. Yeah, I mean, I take it you're referring to Trident, Christine, and there's a handy little safe in a Trident submarine with some instructions in it which vary from Prime Minister to Prime Minister. I'm not making this up. It's all public record. Gene Whitehead, Avon representative. Give him a 1980s 8-bit computer like a BBC. Christ, I remember those. We had them at school. Sinclair, Amstrad, Atari XL, or Commodore. Yeah, pretty much everything was in code. I remember when I started in IT, it was MS-DOS version 5, and the operator manual for it was about that thick, I seem to recall. And then you've got all graphical user interfaces, otherwise known as GUI, which we remember today. Things have certainly changed over the course of a great number of years. Struggle to find any, yeah. Banana, it's a good job Putin is not exactly John Herriton. That's the point I was making. The racist connotations are ridiculous. And if the likes of you or I did that, we'd be in all sorts of trouble, wouldn't we? But, as I said, hats off to the ingenuity for the youngster, but he's been done up like a kipper with all the propaganda that they've got out of it. Can't blame the little boy. He's being fed the lefty life. but good on him. Correct, Bridget. Absolutely correct. Only if we allow it. I really do hope so, because they're hypersonic. Yeah, you referring to these Satan missiles? They look fucking scary, don't they? What are 15,000 miles an hour, unstoppable, multiple warheads in each one. Yeah. I've been really winding the Russians up. I told their foreign ministry they will get Trident heading their way if they dare launch one nuke our way. Patricia Shaw, I'm fine, hun. Alan Pape, hit the like button, people. Yes, if you haven't done so, folks, let's get that like button hit, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Right, we're talking about Russia. Obviously, people are making comments, and I want to ask something. I was born in 1978. I'm pushing 44 years old. I know I look good for it. No comment. But I want to ask a question. I'm not old enough to remember the Cuban Missile Crisis. I know about the Cuban Missile Crisis from what I read in books and everything else, and my understanding is we came that close. Who in the chat, and you don't have to give your age away, I know the average age of the people on this channel, I see it every day when I check the statistics, but who in the chat is old enough to remember the Cuban Missile Crisis? Give me a 1 in the chat if you are, and let's see. And then I'll ask the second part of the question, because it always interests me, the effect of propaganda on the general populace and the effect of media on the general populace. I know you are, Mum. You're old enough to remember Noah and his ark, so you no need to tell me there. Tony Whitworth, one. John Harrington, Alan Pate, 1. I'm 64. Hitting with bomb bananas. Where is that? 1. And here come the next sphere. Global aviation. Yeah, I did see that 1. So a lot of you basically are old enough to remember it. Now, in short, it involved Russians placing missile silos or missile batteries far too close for America for their liking. Everything nearly kicked off and we came that close to it. People were very scared. People were very paranoid and fearful that it was all going to kick off at any minute. And, you had Americans building bomb shelters in their back gardens and, things of this nature. Now you roll forward all this time to 2022. Would you consider the current tensions to be worse or less worse than all those years ago? I'm not referring to the sheer difference in power of these weapons, but purely the political situation. How do you feel about it? Do you feel it's worse or less worse? If it's worse, give me a 1 in the chat. If it's less, give me a 2 in the chat. And let's see how people are feeling. Yeah, Khrushchev. Yeah, that's the chat, wasn't it? So 1 is worse, 2 is less worse. Rare Nebula thinks worse. Less worse, Born in the Woods, John Harrington. Karen says worse. Yeah, there's a bit of a mixed bag there. 1 worse, ignorance of history is no excuse. Less worse. Yeah, there's a mixture, and you all have your reasons for thinking the way you do. Me personally, I don't believe that it could be a possibility. I believe that it's being waved at us like a big stick to try and scare us. And I genuinely believe that. But the very slim part of my mind that believes it could happen, I've, sat down and spoken to my wife and I've said, right, this scenario is a real possibility. If anything was to happen, then I'm probably not going to be here. I'm going to be over there doing my job somewhere. The kids will be at school. Well, my older one won't be now, he's left, and we'll all be separate. This is what you have to do to try and increase your chances of survival as much as you possibly can. All right, I'm probably blowing smoke up her arse in all truth, but you've got to try and do something to make sure you do survive. But if if he was going to do it, he's not going to announce, oh, by the way, Boris, on Tuesday next week, I'm going to stick a 20 kiloton device in the middle of Trafalgar Square. It's not going to happen. It's just going to be out of the blue, isn't it? And I found myself, preparing her for that possibility. We've not discussed it since, but I thought, and I spoke to my dad about this the other night. I never believed in my lifetime that I would be having those conversations with anybody at all, because at the end of the day, in that kind of environment, nobody wins. Nobody. America, Britain, Russia, France, Spain, the whole of Europe, nobody wins. So technically, nobody should want that. And that makes me believe that this is just the stick of propaganda being bashed over the head with to try and keep us in line. And again, is it more distraction from everything that's going on? It's all sleight of hand or, large smear of bullshit, as you may believe, or as the Russians say, niet. But that's enough of that. Let's have a look what other people have said about it. Anyway, don't remember the Cuba crisis, but I do remember the 2 tries by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. All the more reason to tell those you love that you do every single day. You're damn right. That's one thing, and I'm learning that very, very recently. Don't always think of the ones that you love. Or thanks, Trevor. I've had a couple of boob jobs, Botox and fillers. Is somebody paying you compliments, Chrissy Williams? Imagine all of us seeing a bright light from our windows right now. Yeah. Dave Carr, no, not when you own nothing and be happy, which is coming by 2030. It's still there, isn't it? Yeah, that's a matter of public record as well. They're so fucking cocky with it. They'll find out. When the Chernobyl cloud passes over Scotland, we were told to stay indoors. Yeah, that was nasty, wasn't it? No, Trevor Fuller. Honesty and truth, people are asleep. Time to wake up and live for us. We're our own rulers, who are the government, not mine. Did anyone see the Russian TV broadcast last night? They showed and talked about how they could wipe the UK off the face of the earth with a giant nuclear torpedo. Yeah, codename Poseidon, wasn't it? This is another example of propaganda right here being spouted by over there. Some bloody magical nuclear torpedo that could cause a giant tidal wave and, blast the shit out of every single one of us. Again, that's in our media now, and we're all supposed to be scared by it. In the late 50s and 60s, we lived about 7 miles from RAF Finningley, which was a V-bomber base, and the Vulcans were flying over day and night. Yeah, I've been up close and personal with one of those Vulcan bombers. They were massive, massive machines, weren't they? I remember the Cuba crisis, Andy, Julie Keith says. So a lot of you do. A lot of you are old enough to remember it, and you've got to wonder, haven't you, what's going on in the world? Remember the record, It's Good News Week. Yeah. So a mixed bag of opinions. I mean, that's what I like with this, this channel of ours, this community. Hi, Emra. I see you sneaking in there. How have you been today? Yeah, I've not been too bad. They will not destroy. Look on the bright side. If you saw a bright light, you wouldn't have to keep opening your car door. Yeah, that's right. A bit like this. Shut that door. I'll do that one just for you. Listen, everybody, this is the Daily Chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I hope you're doing all right on this Monday night and you've had an enjoyable day. We've been a bit busy around here and I've still got some more work to do this evening. But, hey, That's what you do. Pays your money, takes your chances. If you haven't done so already, please give me a like, thumbs up on the chat. That's how we're getting these words around now, and we're getting it growing, and we're doing good. I think we're up to nearly 30,400 subscribers. It really is motoring along at the moment, and I am so pleased with it. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button as well. And as I've said, you can find us on social media and everything else. The last news story I want to bring you, and we will go and have a chat afterwards, is Sadiq's London. I mean, I had a chat with somebody the other day, let's have a swig of this, about London and what a pain in the arse it is with regard to all of the congestion charges, the ULEZ charges. You can't swing a cat in the place without it being caught on camera. You can't go here, you can't go there, you can't do that. And when you do, you have to drive at 20 miles an hour everywhere. Could you imagine me and my 3-litre V6 driving through London trying to keep it at 20 miles an hour? It's a pain in the arse. It's full of traffic. I don't want to go there anymore, to be blunt. And when I read stories like this, you know, and you had the outgoing Metropolitan Police Commissioner, Commissioner Dick, who's saying that all the numbers are down of the major crimes under her watch. What complete and utter bollocks that was. It's all the usual stuff. And I've had some enlightening conversations today. I mean, here's one for you. Hunt for killer after man stabbed to death near St Paul's Cathedral. St Paul's Cathedral, of all places, smack bang in the middle of London. I mean, there's a nasty picture there. I mean, a Mercedes with, bloody hell, I can't. Yeah, a Mercedes there with police cordon on it and everything. So it gives you an idea something's kicked off. A killer who stabbed a man to death near St Paul's Cathedral in London last night has still not been tracked down. Police found the man seriously hurt in the street around 11:30, and he was taken to hospital but did not survive. The age and identity of the victim is as yet still unknown, and no arrests have been made. Paramedics tried to save the man by giving CPR and rushed him to the Royal London Hospital in Whitechapel. Police have now cordoned off the scene in Gresham Street, just in the shadow of St Paul's. Forensic teams are in the area investigating, and several cars have been cordoned off, including a blue car outside the Lord Raglan pub and a grey Mercedes parked near to where the man was attacked. Assistant Commissioner Pete O'Doherty said City of London police were called to reports of a stabbing in Gresham Street at 11:30 p.m. Officers found a man suffering from serious injuries, carried out CPR at the scene, but he didn't make it. Inquiries are ongoing and no arrests have been made at this time. Does lead several questions, you know, looking at the makes of the cars, for example. Was it some kind of organised crime kind of thing? Was it a meeting between friend and friend that turned nasty? Was it just a plain random attack in the middle of the street? Why has this person, there's cameras all over there, why has this not been picked up? Is this just, you know, there's so many questions, but yet again, a violent crime in our London, in the middle of our capital city, where we want people to go, riverboat on the Thames, a show, everything else. It's, yes, that's another one, blood knows, a drug deal gone wrong, that could happen. You know, where is the law and order? It's getting worse. It is getting far worse there, and I don't know what to say anymore. I think the actions that are needed to put things back on the right track have to be so severe that I don't think anybody's got the bollocks to even attempt it. I mean, you can use America. I mean, let's take New York as a comparison. You've got a new police commissioner, the NYPD, brilliant. She's excellent. You've got district attorneys who seem a little bit hesitant at prosecuting things. And I won't tell you what I think of Eric Adams because I like my YouTube channel too much. But, you've got to have all of the components of the legal and governmental system working in unison. Otherwise, this is just going to snowball. You know, I heard a copper today say, "Oh, I'm not going to do that. It's too much paperwork, too much justification. For fuck's sake, get them off the street." And then that next part of the system has to work for you. Otherwise, we're going to end up in, well, somebody mentioned it earlier, Mad Max land. It's absolutely nuts. That's enough of the news stories today. I want to spend the next 5 minutes or so really just mingling in the chat and seeing what you've all got to say. And we'll look at wrapping up proceedings shortly thereafter. So let's have a wander through, shall we? Dinghy divers are part of the drugs ring, and it's been allowed to happen. That's your thoughts, Bridget. Well, again, it's a distinct possibility, isn't it? Somebody calling Chrissy a smart one. Well, I think you're all smart in here, aren't you? You know, you're not silly. None of us are. We can see it all. Be very scary. You wouldn't go in London. John Harris showing their big woods. Yes, Lorna. I'm very educated. Sister has only just started waking up. Cuban Missile Crisis started in October 1962, 60 years ago, long time. But this isn't the first of this style. No, definitely not. Torsos. Can you imagine if we was allowed to have guns in this country? It's a different mentality, John Harris, isn't it? I mean, in America, you have the Second Amendment, you know, the right to bear arms. And, you know, it's an inbuilt part of their culture. If somebody's walking down the street with a piece, I'm going to carry on to protect myself. The next thing you know, they're fucking shooting at each other. Over here, it's, you know, slightly different. We weren't really brought up to believe a gun should be part of our everyday life. I know retired police officers in America that take their wife to the shop and they're tooled up because they feel the need to be for self-protection. Is that the way this is going over here? It's the mind boggles yet again. And is it the smaller stuff they're getting away with, which is leading to the bigger stuff, or is it more to it? There's so many questions. Andy the Gabby Cabby, it's hilarious to think your beloved mummy Jean could smack your tush and or ground you for the ancient jibe. Well, she could have a go. I'll tell you a funny story about that, actually. Where are we? Our young have more sense than you think. They just need more guidance, love, and moral thought. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? We've got to keep an eye on the young and make sure they don't get all this propagandized bullshit in the schools and everywhere else where we're not with them. 17 more likes to reach 100, please. Yeah, come on, folks. Let's get it up to a ton before the end. It does help Andy's algorithm. It sounds like a medical condition, doesn't it? They still have beat bobbies in the metropolis. I'm not really, not anymore. I think they probably do more so in London, but they're too hesitant to do anything about it. Where are we? Jane Griffiths, why are you saying this? I'll have a look at that in a minute. In Dublin, we have African men walking around naked and no police. Grado in sight. So much for diversity. It's nuts, isn't it? Absolutely nuts. Let's see if we can find out. I think the Queen. Yeah, I've heard that before, Jane Griffiths. And there's an awful lot more in the news about being frail and you know, not strong enough to do certain things like she used to be able to. And it seems more and more, doesn't it? Speaking of more, rhymes with door, which I'm going to shut that door. Whee! There we go. Where else? Let's see what Anna has to say. While the West has been discussing the 525 gender sorts and kids been allowed to identify as a candy floss, elephant today, and tomorrow a chocolate seahorse. The dragon have been, yeah, totally agree with you there, Anna. It is all sleight of hand. Why is Parrothead Putin threatening to destroy London when Sadiq Khan's damn perfectly well at it? Yeah, that's true. Just leave him to it. Save you a few nukes, wouldn't it? Be quicker using my wheelchair. That's Bridget. It's all bland out there. The governments don't even try to hide it. People are just walking around with their eyes closed and brains shut off. Michael H just subscribed. Thank you very much, Michael H. That's wonderful. Thank you very much for your support there. And I appreciate that, sir. And welcome to, well, Andy's Army, apparently we're called. So we'll go with that. Money grabbing charges. Torso. No, you don't bear to be said. Yeah, similar comments all the way down. Very similar. Right, folks, we're coming up 50 minutes now, so I'm going to wrap this up for the day. I'm looking all bleary-eyed too. You probably can't see it because of the dark part from there upwards, but pretty tired. Anyway, thank you all for joining me again today for another daily live stream, which we do every day. As you've probably seen the last few days, I'm just trying to mix it up a bit, really. Bit of news, bit of talk, and an amusing one in there, you know, the mattresses and the young 4-year-old taking his mum's car for a joyride and crashing into 2 others. That's one of those crazy stories that you don't see very often. If you haven't done so already, please can I ask that you hit the like button on the daily chat today, just so we can make sure we're at the 100 mark. With this new StreamYard software, I still can't see how many likes I've got. I can see how many people are watching. I can see how long I've been live, but I can't see the number of likes I've got, which is a little bit of a niggle because I like to keep an eye on that, but never you mind. If you haven't done so already as well, please consider subscribing to the channel, Andy the Gabby Cabby. We've got 90, where are we? 95. Right, come on. While I'm gassing away, let's get that up to the 100. I think we need 4 more, don't we? Yes, definitely. Yeah, Andy the Gabby Cabby is in other places as well. We are Facebook, where you'll see in this broadcast, one of the places. Instagram, Twitter, Getter. We've got our own website, andythegabbycabby.com, where it's just literally a copy of the videos we're putting out, and a couple of other things, and a bit of gubbins about what I do as a main business. Yeah, we got the 100. Well done, folks. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. We try and hit that every time. There is a merch store on there where you've got the odd cup and top and everything else. I make very, very little, if anything, out of those. It's literally just a token. Hello, I'm a member of the Andy Club. Somebody suggested I make up an Andy's Army t-shirt for the summer. I might try and sit and do that over the next couple of days. I'm not much of a design artist though, so bear with me. If anybody's got any suggestions, Facebook them to me. I'll plant them on a t-shirt and see how we get on. Tomorrow, there will be more content. I will get some other bits out. What I'm trying to do, because I've noticed that not everybody watches these live streams. So I'm trying to break the live streams down and get them out in more manageable chunks for people that just like the videos. So, you know, you can see them, and it seems to be sustainable for me to do it that way as well. I'll be back tomorrow night with another live stream for you about the same time. We seem to be settling into this 8-9 o'clock slot at the moment, which is all good. And that's it, really. What's left of your night, everybody? Please enjoy yourselves, relax, and look forward to tomorrow, whether it's work or anything like that. And for now, I bid you toodaloo.